Okay, hey y'all, welcome back to Finishing My Coffee. Um, Today's episode is going to be very transparent, per usual. It's not like I'm never transparent, but it's it's a little tender spot for me, right? Because it's a form of humility. Okay, so um, I've read about Jesus in being in the Garden of Gethsemane. And this thought kind of came the first time I read it, but what brought like the thought to surface, like okay, now it's like this is like resonating with me still, right? So my husband and I are in marriage counseling, and we had like a little tiff or a little situation happen, and I was like, hold on now. I was like, I just feel like you're not giving me what I need, or, like, how you want somebody to like just do it how just do it how I want you to do it. You know what I mean? Like, let me give you this manuscript or this transcript, and you just read off of that, and boom, you're doing exactly what I need you to do. But while saying that out loud in our session, I said, oh, it was like Holy Spirit, right? Just delete tapped me and said, uh, oh, maybe I need to, maybe I need to be more proud of myself. You know, maybe I need to, no, I said, maybe I need to congratulate myself. Maybe what I'm looking for in you is what I need to be doing myself. Like, it was just such like a moment. Hearing myself out loud, this is like the consensus that I came to about my own self. And I said, maybe I'm asking too much of you. Right? Maybe I'm asking too much of you. Maybe you just, and it's so God has a way of speaking to you, right? And I ask that often, but I homeschool my oldest, and we were doing a lesson about capacity. He had to learn about capacity, and the best way I could explain it to him was, I'm a visual learner, so that's how I'm like in a way teaching him some things, right? And it's so wild because while I'm teaching him this, it is like it is adding to all of my thoughts, right? And this, I taught this capacity lesson before this marriage counseling session. So just going back in my mind, I was just like, because I'm like, son, now mind you, these are not like the best little props, but this is what I got next to me. I'm like, son, capacity is like how much of something can feel something. Like, it's like all right, listen. Okay. Capacity. You know what I mean? Like, capacity. So we'll come back to those later. So reading Jesus in the garden, I'm going to read it. It's Matthew 26, 40 through 45. Well, I'm going to start at, I got my Bible. That's what I'm looking down. Because we want to teach Bible. I love when Jerry Flowers say that. So I'm going to start at 38. And Jesus says, my soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me. What I highlight, right? Like, for me, if I'm in that, it's like my soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Now, he got his three people, right? He got Peter, he got James, he got John. Fact check me. But I think, yeah. Because in this text, I know it's like one in Luke, one in Matthew, and it talks about it in another one. But I know that the verbiage is kind of different. But I know those are his three. And he's like, my soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me. Immediately, I'm thinking, well, we don't know what that feel like, right? So I don't want to get rush past what else I need to say. So let me read this other part. And so then in Matthew 26:40, he says, it says, then Jesus returned to the disciples and found them sleeping. And he says, couldn't you men keep watch with me for 1 hour? He asked. Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And again, as I always preference, I understand what Jesus' message is in this, but for me, it resonated very deeply. And so I always pray that I'm not taking the Bible out of context and then sticking it to my own. You know what I mean? But for me, this was it was like another aha moment of I'm expecting too much from people. That's me. So that's what I kind of read when I first read it. And then in marriage counseling, it was like, I'm expecting too much from people. Like, as those disciples, I mean, I'm sure they did their best to stay up. But the thing for me that kind of sticks out is they have no idea. They could see maybe Jesus in anguish. They could see Jesus distraught and hurt, but they could not feel that. You know what I mean? They can't feel. They couldn't feel what he felt. They couldn't carry what he was carrying. He literally was carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. And so he's needing them to stay awake for him, because this is what he's carrying, and these are his people. So it's he knows he can pull on them. He knows he can trust them. But I think that practically, and in my world, I think that I'm expecting too much from people like that. Unrealistic expectations. My therapist, we have been working on that probably since day one, because I only put things on people that I put on myself. So I put a good amount of unrealistic expectations on myself. And I just kind of expect that from other people. And it could be a lot. It could be a lot. And so in marriage counseling, my husband didn't even put those words. He didn't even say that. He didn't say you need to do this or it's too much. He was just so when I said, maybe I'm putting too much on you, we ask things of people that they just don't have the capacity for. And that's okay. Human limits exist. This is me talking to me. Human limits exist. I am learning that one person cannot give and be our everything. And when I said I needed to start congratulating myself, it's because, that starts in childhood, right? We always gonna skate back that way. That's just the root of things. But I am a check off the box person. What's next? Versus sitting in what I've accomplished, sitting in the progress I've made, sitting in the real life changes that I've made. And I'm putting too much on him, in the sense of, not that, who wouldn't want their partner, their spouse, whatever the case may be, to be in their corner and being yes, you go girl, I see you. But for the most part, that has to come from us. I feel that has to be established with us first, because then it's just like it's not something that we're seeking and not getting. So then that's when it becomes an expectation. I feel like being raised, if you are congratulated often, awarded often, it could be too much to where you feel like everybody's supposed to do that. And then when you're not at all, then you feel like everybody should do that, like, or pay attention to things. But you don't know how to do it for yourself. And that's kind of like my case, where giving myself flowers, that's okay. Like, you can buy yourself flowers. You can be proud of yourself, and that is something that I am learning so that I'm not pulling too much from my husband and asking him of something that he just does not have the capacity for. Like I said, capacity. This could be all that he got. Okay, we're gonna act like this water bottle full. Okay, use your imagination. We're gonna act like this water bottle full, and this is what I'm asking for, and this is all he got. So that's when it becomes an unrealistic expectation, because he don't have it. He don't have it. He could, like, working on it, but that's something he also, has to work on. It's just like being proud of himself. So it's like we're both looking for the same thing. And I've learned that in our marriage counseling sessions, like, we kind of operate off some of the same emotional wavelength. Like, people attract for a reason. And so validation is important to both of us. But we do have to fill our own cup. So that was one. Leaning on God. I think that one is really important, because nobody knows what you're carrying the most but God. Nobody knows how hard it is to carry it. Nobody knows, like, the brokenness. Nobody knows but God. He knows things before we even think them. Like, he created us. He knows. And when I think of that, I think of Hannah. Hannah could not have kids. God, it says in the Bible that the Lord closed her womb. I will put her where you can find that in the Bible, in the notes. But it reminds me of Hannah. Like, Hannah, it says the Lord closed her womb. She's sitting around Peninnah and being targeted and picked on and all the things, and she didn't call up, and maybe she could have, but she didn't call up no homegirl and was like, girl, I'm going through this. This is what I'm feeling. I just, like, where she went? Where she went? Right to God. She let out, all of it. So much so that the priest thought she was drunk. Like, that's how much hurt she had, and I can't say that the community that you have is, if you feel comfortable in that way and doing that, then that's fine. But nobody will truly know what you're carrying, and then no one can help you really carry that but God. So it reminds me of Hannah, like, leaning on God. That's where she went. And she went and she did what she had to do. And she got up. And she had to walk right back into what she was dealing with. It's not like circumstances changed. It's not like the next day she was pregnant. Like, no. It didn't happen like that. But God helped her carry that. So we have to also take our grievances to the source, so that we're still not putting too much on people, and we're not asking too much of people. We're not expecting too much of people, And Proverbs tells us that. It like, I'll put that in there too, because I think I said it before. When I read, it's like I could tell you the book, but I can't tell you the scripture. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and find it. But Proverbs tells us how to have healthy relationships and healthy friendships. And that calling on people too much is a way to damage a friendship. And I'm paraphrasing, or damage a relationship. And so to keep that healthiness there, keep the boundaries there, then we have to lean on God. He has to be our source. He has to be our anchor in all things. He is who we run to. And then you get your discernment from God. You can't tell people everything. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes he has to be the one who knows. He already knows. But he has to be the one that you run to. Because not everyone is supposed to hold what we have. Everybody is not supposed to walk through with us in certain things. And that's just, to me, that's just wisdom, right? Knowing, who you can call on, who you can talk to, all things, but mostly we're gonna take it to God. I'm reading off my little list here. Like I said, people can't carry us, but God can. God can carry us. He can carry it all. Jesus was literally wearing the weight of the world on his shoulders. There is not anybody who would have understood that but God. The disciples were just in their humanness. And who's to say that they weren't just emotionally exhausted? They grasped the concept a little bit of this is what's getting ready to happen to Jesus. This is what's getting ready to happen to this is getting ready to happen to you. So it even in Peter's humanness, when Jesus told him what was going to happen again, because throughout the Bible he's telling them, I have to, be turned over to, such and such, and all these things are going to happen. And you have Peter hey, watch your mouth now. He's rebuking Jesus, and immediately, Jesus rebukes him, and he's like, Satan, get behind me, and it's I get it. In his humanness, in his, we don't want to see the people that we love hurt, right? He could not fully understand what God's divine plan was. So they were just in their humanness, right? And even when Jesus went back, because I believe he caught them sleep 3 times, he didn't rebuke them or get real upset with them, because I feel like in a way he understood that, hey, they're in their humanness. They were human. They were not without fault. And that is the mindset that I am having to slowly grasp to when it comes to people. I have pushed a lot of people away. I have cut a lot of people off. I have I wouldn't say that it was wrong, because I just was unaware of what I was doing. So I thought I was protecting myself in the best ways I was supposed to. And it's taken me to just truly join Jesus. Get on this journey. Give God my yes to see the humanness in people. Sometimes people just don't have it. And even if they do and they don't want to give it, then that's still not on you, I don't always have it. I'm not always right. Like I said, I've hurt people. We're just human. We all have some fault to us. And I am just learning that some people you do have to just, remove. But for the most part, if you feel like you could have communication with someone and y'all can work through or past these things, and I feel like it's worth it. So at 30, I'm learning that people are not disposable, because sometimes you don't come across people twice. And I'm sitting in those consequences now where I could have been a little bit more patient with people. Um, and just not putting so much expectation on people or myself. Um, I was just talking to my therapist yesterday, and I was telling her, because I can overcorrect in my parenting and overcompensate in my parenting. And I told her, my frame of thinking was like, I want to keep them out of therapy. I don't want them to have to go to therapy. In August, I'll be in 11 years of therapy. As I said before, like my childhood trauma is just it's a lot. But I was like, I wanted to keep them out of therapy, but then I told her that is such an unrealistic expectation I'm putting on myself, right? Because they're not always going to be under me. They're going to have their own influences. They're going to make their own choices in life, which will ultimately decide where they go. Sometimes they're gonna have their own life outside of me. And I've been in therapy. It's not terrible. My mind frame was keeping them out of therapy talking about me. I have no control of that either because I'm not perfect. So that put a lot of unrealistic expectations on me to be the perfect mom. And there is no perfect mom. There is no perfect person. You know, I get frustrated. I could yell a little bit, okay? I'm human. And so that's one of the unrealistic expectations I put on myself. And so then that's one of the unrealistic expectations I can put on people. That's just one. That's just one. You know? Making mistakes. You know, you ever seen no, so like if you have kids and you have one who accidentally knocks over his cup at lunch and he spills his juice or something. You know, naturally a parent's like, oh no, it's okay. Let me get you some paper towels. Let's clean it up. That's me. Like, it's okay, accidents happen. But growing up in my household, you gonna get beat for that. So then it shaped my mind frame of, you can't make mistakes. You have to be careful. You can't waste things. You have to just be like, everything has to be in place. Like, any fragile moment could be that moment you get it. And so that just shaped my thinking of like, and I did an episode about feeling like I had to be perfect. All the things shaped my mind in unrealistic expectations. And I'm working so hard on that because I don't want to put that on my kids. I don't want them to feel like they have to be perfect to be loved. I don't want them to feel like they have to walk on eggshells. Like, none of that. Like, life is messy. And they're kids, so it's like I am like reshaping and changing a lot of my pathways. It's not easy and it's not overnight. It takes a lot of Jesus. Okay, a lot of Jesus, a lot of God, a lot of therapy, and a lot of coffee. Okay, so excuse me. That's my word for today. That's my episode for today is we have to stop expecting so much from people. We have to stop looking for people to just try to carry things that they're not equipped to carry. And then we have to love people we have to love others for who they are and not for what we wish they could be. So that's just meeting people where they at. And that's exactly how God loves us. He doesn't wait for us to get cleaned up, hair in place, teeth white, toes white. He's not waiting for none of that. He meets us where we are. And he gradually works on us. And that is what I am working on. Is loving people where they are that doesn't mean that you just accept whatever from people. You're allowed to have boundaries. You're allowed to have standards. You're allowed to tell people, hey, I don't like that. You are allowed to set that tone and give people the time, give people the grace to renew like themselves in those ways. But off the rip, we just can't expect too much from people, because that puts a lot of pressure on people, and sometimes they just don't have it. So let them know, and prayerfully you have people in your life that are willing to take what you say seriously, love you enough to say, you know, let me see, like let me work on that, you know, and you could go from there. But, you know, always use your discernment. Take everything to God first, because that is my go-to. And lean on God more than we lean on people. We need community, yes. But Jesus often drifted away in aloneness, not loneliness. He wasn't in isolation. He wasn't pushing people away. He wasn't like running from people. You know, he had community. He used his community, but he also used his aloneness, and he sat with God, and he allowed God to carry what he had. When he went off to pray, it was just him and God. It wasn't him, his disciples, and God. He left them where they were and went somewhere else. In the same proximity, yes, but he still leaned on God. You know, his prayer to God was anguish. It's like sweat and blood. Hey, my nervous system. I've been one of them disciples with a bad nervous system. My stomach hurt. I got to go to the bathroom. Jesus, cause you over here sweating blood. You gonna tell me to get behind you, cause I'm gonna tell you. We're gonna go find a flight. Did they have planes back then? I don't know. I don't know about this. You know, and I know it was God's plan, but that was a lot. You know, so lean on your community, but lean on God more. That's all I'm saying. We need community, and we need God. But yes, I hope this makes sense for y'all. I pray that this resonates with someone, and you are able to lean on God more. You are able to love yourself more. You're able to fill your cup. Fill your cup. Fill your own cup. That's needed too. You know, start with little affirmations. Write down all the things that you've prayed for, and go through and check them off that God has answered. Write down all of the goals that you have accomplished, and be proud of yourself. Treat yourself. You know, whatever that looks like to you. But be proud of yourself. I am proud of myself. I've come a very long way in 10 years of therapy. I don't think the way that I used to. I don't talk the way that I used to. I don't dislike myself the way that I used to. Or there would be no finishing my coffee, because I didn't like looking at myself. I didn't like hearing myself talk. And so I've came a long way. And you can too. Start small, and just really pray for courage and whatever that is. But love yourself. Fill your cup. Be proud of you. Okay? Don't despise small steps. Don't despise small beginnings. Bible, God tells us that too. I'm gonna have to go find it. God knows it, right? Don't despise small beginnings. And I think that's hold on, because I think I might know. Hold on. Ecclesiastes 11:4. I'm gonna fact check myself, but I love if that's if that's the right scripture. Where it talks about it's better for something to like be at the end than the beginning. So it's better how something finishes than it starts. That's not what he's looking at. So don't despise that beginning, that initial step. Those small steps lead to big ones. How you starting, the ending is what matters, right? So don't despise those small steps. It's gonna take some time, but you can do it. We can do it, okay? And yeah, I'm gonna leave it there, and I just pray that this reaches whoever it needs to. I pray that it makes sense. My little ADHD scatterbrain, and just remember, capacity. Okay, this is full, and it might be empty. Somebody might be empty. You know what I mean? You could kind of take it the way you want, but we can just ask a lot of people, and they just don't have it, right? And that's okay, because we serve a big God, and there's nothing too big, too small for him, because he can handle it all. All right? And keep praying. Keep praying. You keep fasting. Keep doing what you're doing. Pray without ceasing, and don't allow yourself to just drift off. Those moments where you're like, oh, I don't feel like reading, get up and read. Don't take that lightly. Okay, oh, I just want to scroll on social media real quick, but you're supposed to be reading your Bible. Get up and read that Bible. Social media can wait. Don't compromise on this small thing. I talked about this last time, but it's coming back up. It's coming back up in my spirit, because I could be talking to myself. Get up and read. Get up and study. He tells us to watch and pray for a reason. Remain vigilant. Okay, constantly pray over yourself. There's no such thing as too many prayers. Don't let the enemy trick you. Okay, that's just it. Continuously be in prayer. Always ask God to speak to you in ways. While you're doing the dishes, while you're doing your hair, while you're brushing your teeth. Like, stay in constant communication. That phone line is never just, that's your phone line, that's his phone line. Y'all connected. Ain't no car waiting on your line. Now, well, who was it? Daniel? Where his prayer was held up, his answer was held up for 21 days? Even then, you feel like it's taking a minute? I'm about to put that in there too. What Bible tells us, he answered it the first time. It was just held up. That angel just wasn't strong enough. He probably needed a little V8 juice or something. We don't know. But the point of it is that it was answered, it was heard. Okay? So keep doing all your things. Don't get tired of praying. Don't get tired of reading. Don't get tired of doing none of that. Keep your eye, keep your curiosity, keep your light. Keep your lights. Keep your light. And that's it, because I'm about to start rolling my little, keep your light. Keep your eyes on God. Because we know what happened to Peter when he took his eyes off Jesus in the water. He drowned. I feel a word. No, he didn't drown. He almost drowned. Lord. Jesus is there. He's ever present. God is there. He's ever present. Don't let the enemy trick you out. I'm a visual person. So when I'm in my head, I have a knob. Like you turning your music up or down. I have a knob in my head. And it says my thoughts. And I'm turning them all the way now. I mean to the lowest of the lowest. What is before zero? That's what I'm doing. What is before zero? Because I want to hear from God. I want to discern God. Okay? And this is going to be a long video, because we had a situation, and we purchased a car. And I feel like this was the enemy, right? And I feel like it applies to the 21 days of the answer a little bit, because Because, what was I about to say? I feel like the enemy wanted me to think that I wasn't discerning God right. And because I wasn't discerning God right, that I need to stop. He wasn't going to trick me that fast. Yeah. And I'm very cautious of the things I say out loud. Because one thing that food can do, he can hear. Can we say food? One thing that food can do, he can hear. He sure can hear. He can hear real good. So, be careful of the things you say out loud too. You know, like complaining and things. Because it's always going to show up. Because he putting that in his pocket. He a little stealer. He a little thief. But I felt like he wanted me to, like, feel like I was, like, in shame of not hearing God or discerning God's voice. You know, I just continuously kept my eyes on God, kept my thoughts on God. Isaiah 26:3. I said, because you're not going to get my mind that fast. And it works just like that. Where situations come up and then you question if what you're doing is right. And all you have to do is keep your heart and your mind and your eyes and your ears set on God. And that's all you need to do. Stay in your word. Continuously praying. That's all you need to do. For him to reassure you of these things. You're going to be all right. We're human. We're human. I don't know everything. I'm not supposed to know everything. I'm supposed to know just enough. When in Exodus, God was providing manna daily. That is where the daily bread comes from. He told them people, don't you say that bread. Don't you say that bread into the morning. What they do? Some of them was saving that bread. Not out of like, oh, I'm gonna be disobedient, or oh, I don't know. It was in the thought of, I've been a slave for this long. They deprived me of food for this long. So it was out of safety. It was in their humanness, you know? And God still provided their manna, their food, because they couldn't eat the other one. It had molded and all the things, which is why he told them not to. So that's why we have to get up. We have to get that daily bread every day. Pick up that cross every day. Those are the two things that you need to do. Get that daily bread and make sure you pick up your cross. Some days are going to be harder than others. You didn't drink enough water yesterday. Pick your cross up. You're going to be aching a little bit. Get your little electrolytes. Get your little potassium. Get your little salt. You're going to be all right. Pick that cross up. Okay? You on a little low carb diet, that's okay, cool. Just make that your only bread that you get for the day. But get your bread. Get your bread. Okay? However you get it. Get your daily bread. That's it, y'all. I done went over what I was talking about. I done went into something else. But I just felt it. Keep your eyes on God. That's it. All right, and I'm gonna put those texts in there about Ecclesiastes and Hannah. Okay, and that's it. All right, so y'all have a great day. Have a great Friday. Happy Friday. I'm gonna go get me an iced coffee, and yeah, I will see y'all the next time. Bye bye.